This episode and others like it are made possible by the generous support of my patrons on Patreon. If you would like to help support this channel and get early access to every video, consider becoming a patron on patreon.com/CityScapes. Hi guys, CityScapes here. Remember me? It's been a long time. I'm pretty sure I haven't done this for half a year or so. And of course I really missed it. I missed you guys, I missed Verville, playing City Skylines, doing these voiceovers and video editing. Oh, just feels great. If you have been following the stuff I posted on Discord, you already know that I started working a full-time job. So no student anymore, and therefore way less time for hobbies, especially such time-intense hobbies as City Skylines and City Skylines YouTuber is. But let's just appreciate quickly this Riggy build, and it's gone. Today we will be focusing on those two empty green lots shown on the screen right now. This, by the way, was the drawing Verumpositor made for me to kind of plan and lay out the Old Town district. And boom, we are already back in the game, back building in Verville. Later on, when we will be doing something a little bit less interesting, I'll talk a bit more about the reasons for my break from YouTube and City Skylines, and about my plans for this channel or City Skylines in general. I mean, it's not like I have a master plan or anything, just what I had in mind a bit. But yeah, for now, let's focus on what the hell am I doing here? I thought this land plot in this 90-degree corner of the canal here would be perfectly suited for a really nice botanical garden. Inspiration for that one, of course, came from Zurich. There's also one, and right this instant I'm just downloading some Google Earth shots, which I will be showing during this talking segment, of course. As you can see, it's also kind of embedded in this canal called Schanzengraben. It's also part of the historic fortification system of Zurich. And yeah, it just sits in the middle of the city, very nicely embedded between the buildings and the canal and that stuff. And it's a great spot to just relax and chill for a bit. And here in City Skylines, I try to catch the vibe of that garden a bit with this, I think it's the palm tree house or something like that. It's this very prominent stone building you saw me plopping down before. I thought I'm gonna building around that thing right now, but this timeline is actually pretty old already, so I don't really know what's happening next. But right now we are shielding off the garden from the street a bit with this stone wall. I think this is a crucial thing to block out the noise a bit and to bring the feeling of being in the middle of a forest to the people who are visiting the garden. As the main building for this garden I chose this, I think it's called Wackerbad building or something like that. It's made by Titan and it looks absolutely amazing. And this longish building, I think it also belongs to that pack, but I'm actually not 100% sure anymore. First I wanted to do those paths with a gravel path, because I think that would be a bit more fitting. But the thing is, these gravel paths, you can't really narrow them down with a node controller. They will just eventually disappear. So I went for the gloss concrete path, or however they are called. I mean, I also used some other path from Park Life, and even the gravel path I just told you before I tried to avoid, but oh, I actually replaced it. Look at that. That's probably when I realized it didn't really work out. As you can see, I made the corners around this building, the corners of the path around this building very edgy with node controller. I think that looks just really great in this scenario. And the class path, I shrank them down in size with a node controller. The main ones I kept them a little bit wider, but those side paths I think I nearly shrank them by 50% or so. Then already some detailing, spicing things up with the grey flame rocks, what else, and some bushes and nice greenery. And yeah, here I really went down very deep a rabbit hole with this greenhouse, I guess you could call it. First I chose some nice decals for it, and since I PO'd the whole building, and at that time there wasn't a support for sub-buildings with PO, so I had to make a custom roof, as well as the windows somehow, they just disappeared, so I had to put something else inside there. And now I draw outlines with a curb network and filled in the gaps with ploppable gravel, so we have very cool and interestingly shaped planters inside the greenhouse, as well as a path sneaking its way around the inside here. And yeah, here I couldn't really be bothered downloading some very exotic plants and stuff like that, so I just chose some nicely colorful greenery stuff. I'm really trying not to download more stuff for Verville, because at this point it's really a miracle that it's still running and not exploding. But yeah, as long as it's running, I keep building stuff, so that's what you can see me do here. Marking the outlines of the path with these nice low hedges. Never really used them all that much. They look great in that scene here. Now off to another detail I went a bit nuts with. Grabbed this fountain here and deleted the actual fountain away from the asset with PO. I even got rid of the splashing stuff underneath here, because the idea was not to have a normal fountain, but more like a, what's the word for it? I think water jet or something. Yeah, you will see it in a second what I'm talking about. But yeah, it was really painful to get rid of the right vertices here. Some of them I just hid inside the bottom there. Others I could just merge into one single point. But the leaves I really wanted to keep, because I think they look great with this asset, and yeah, they just add a nice little detail. And damn me, I just cut it all away. But yeah, here I placed this water jet inside of that bottom part of the fountain, and shrank it down a bit. And the water kind of looked brownish, or not really apparent that there's water there, so I just colored the ploppable pavement turquoise and put it also in there, and now I have created a whole new asset, kind of. Okay, and right now I'm not sure what I'm gonna do next. Yeah, please forgive me, it's been forever since I've done a voiceover. But yeah, as you can see, I just detailed the outlines of certain things of the park a bit with greenery, placed some trees here and there, but I didn't want to completely fill it with trees. I didn't want to make a complete jungle out of this garden. I wanted to have a nice mix between some denser areas regarding greenery and also some open space, so it looks great from further away, that you can actually see that there's kind of air to breathe. Yeah, don't mind the black box I put over the botanical garden there. That was because I was I think it was because I was recording cinematics for the old town, or maybe it was because of a stream and I didn't want to spoil the area. But anyway, we already turned to this other part of today's video, the other green lot I mentioned before in the beginning of the episode. And as you can see, I didn't really started it from scratch. I didn't start the recording while I was beginning building on this in this area. So there are already some houses there. But obviously, there's still a lot to do. And I thought for myself that I didn't really want to have buildings all along the shoreline. I kind of wanted to break it up a bit. So I had the idea to create this little hill here in this area to make great use of the gray flame rocks again. And yeah, just break up the row of houses a bit. Later on you will see me doing a little viewing point on top of this little hill. But right now I'm just trying to mix up things a bit regarding building style. Because I figured in this area there probably used to be an old port dock or something like that, which wasn't really needed anymore later on. So there was a bit of room for gentrification. That's why you get to see those two modern buildings right at the main street. One of them I will turn into a hotel. And for this historic dockyard, I knew exactly what to build. I don't really know where this idea came from, but I wanted to have a very modern, flat-looking structure attached to those row of very old-looking houses behind them. And this is supposed to be a very nice spot, a very nice location for weddings or big anniversaries. Yeah, just a cool location to rent for some special events. And I really tried my best to blend it in as nicely as possible in this area of very old houses. And I think it turned out pretty well in the end. We have pedestrian path going absolutely everywhere. It's always important to liven up an area, or however you say it. And yeah, here we go, building the viewing point. Blending in all the rocks with some bushes and greenery, and jumping back to some larger trees. And here it was clear to me I want to have it very dense foresty to really break up the area a bit. And right next to this viewing point hill thingy we have another hotel. But this is a really old grand hotel, unlike the one right on the left side from it. This is supposed to be for some really important people, maybe politicians visiting from other countries and stuff like that. And I wanted it to look very grand. That's why we have this really big park area behind the building. You get to have the perfect view on over the lake and see the mountains in the distance. And here I'm trying to build a little pool house. I thought every hotel should have a possibility to go for a swim, but just a regular pool would be kind of not high-end enough, if you know what I mean. So I had the idea to kind of hide the pool inside also grand-looking, historic-looking pool house. I apologize for not showing every detail of building this park area here, But the truth is, I really wasn't sure how exactly to design this park, so I kept it kind of empty, just a nice looking lawn. And yeah, nothing too special about it, to be honest, but it looks great in the end, and that's all that matters, right? Here, placing some windows in between those arches, and that was the pool house. Okay, and if I'm not mistaken, we are now only detailing for the rest of the episode, which is always a bit hard for me to comment on, because, I mean, it's just spicing up things with lots of props and stuff like that. So that's a good point for me to talk about my thoughts about the future of the channel. So truth is, I'm spending a lot of time on work in front of a computer screen already, and during my leisure time, I really don't feel like also staring at the screen all the time. I mean, it's probably gonna change in winter a bit, because then you can't really go outside. I mean, you can, but there's just way less things to do. But during summertime, I really prefer going out, meeting friends, and have a nice swim in the river or lake. Yeah, so this, and the other thing is, I think a lot of people underestimate how much time it actually needs to put together an episode at this level of detail and stuff like that. So maybe for context, for me, putting together an episode with all the editing, the voiceover, uploading on YouTube, doing the video description, and blah blah blah, it's a process that takes at least around 30 hours, and that's not exaggerating, it's actually true. And yeah, when I was a student, I kind of could afford it to spend that much time on this stuff, but let's face it, it's almost a full week of work, so keeping up a weekly schedule or anything like that is just absolutely impossible, and I really don't want to do this as well. So what I'm trying to do is to kind of release episodes in batches, like a true series basically. Maybe having something like seasons even. We will see how this goes, but right now I have in mind to record 10 episodes of Verville, keeping them as a backlog, and obviously if you are a patron, you get to see it. You get to see them immediately. But on YouTube, I would like to release them in a weekly fashion, or maybe every 2 weeks. But then, as I said, 10 episodes every 2 weeks. So this would be very good for the algorithm, and you kind of know when one episode is getting released, then you can looking forward for the next 9 ones in every 2 weeks or so. We will see how this goes. Maybe 10 episodes is way too much, because I would need maybe another half a year or so to have 10 episodes together. So maybe let's say 5 or so. We will see how this goes. But yeah, if you want to get the episodes as soon as possible, consider becoming a Patreon. I can only encourage that. Feel free to follow me on Instagram. I post screenshots there, not recently, but yeah, I think when I'm gonna upload and create those videos again, I'll definitely upload more screenshots as well. Then I also have a Discord server where you can chat and exchange nice screenshots. Sometimes I even do a spontaneous little stream over there, but the streaming mostly happens on Twitch if you are interested in that. Yeah, that's definitely the go-to platform if you want to see me build stuff live. A big thanks to all my Patreons, Connor, Renee, Toby, and Dominic. Thank you guys so much for your support, it really means a lot. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'm really looking forward to see you next one.